Hello and welcome back, adventurers. Invidia is a place of unbridled passions, where love and anger are frequently indistinguishable, and where hard work leads to equally hard play. Invidians vary greatly in appearance, due to a great deal of ethnicities and cultures mixed together. The one thing that governs everyone's fashion sense is that all consider excessive decoration to be floppish and decadent, suitable only for festivals. Festival garb itself is nothing short of outlandish, as the Invidians clothe themselves in garish colors, twirling beads and ribbons for their merrymaking. Such costumes are often completed with brightly colored wooden masks carved in elaborate animalistic shapes and adorned with found materials such as polished stones and feathers. Among Invidians, appearance is a less defining the character, for they are known throughout the court for their passionate, hot-tempered nature. Bitter, brooding, and given to sudden explosions of temper, Invidians never forget a slight and bear grudges for generations. Long-standing feuds over forgotten insults have claimed hundreds of lives over the years, and duels or brawls of honor are commonplace. An evening at Invidian tavern is considered dull if only one fight occurs. Given the Invidians' passionate natures and the fact that they tend to marry young, usually impulsively, it is not surprising that marital infidelity is common, as are duels and fights resulting from adulterous liaisons. A day and one night, a merchant said that he never dealt with Invidians, for a man who agreed to deal one day might be slain the next. I do not mean that the Invidians are devoid of good qualities, though the heat of their passions colors all reference to them by the outside world. To have an Invidian heart is a terrible insult elsewhere, implying that one is ruled by his own passions and acts without thinking. Yet when they're not trying to kill one another, the Invidians are an industrious, hard-working folk who love as fiercely as they hate. The Invidians are, surprisingly, not terribly warlike. In the past, local nobles maintained their own garrisons and fought in feuds that were almost comical in their ineptitude and size. Populace expanded the Invidian military, but Gabriella Dare allowed it to collapse entirely once more. It was her soldiers who occupied western Gundarak, but this is one of only a handful of Invidian military adventures. For the most part, the typical Invidian prefers to fight his kinsmen far more than his distant neighbors. Education is a rare and distrusted commodity. Anyone who reads too much or owns more books than a religious text or a farming manual is treated with suspicion. Spells come out of books, and spells are dangerous, and those who read too many books inevitably come up with wild, disruptive ideas that bring sorrow and pain to those around them. When it comes to outsiders, the Invidians' darker nature once more asserts itself. Foreigners are distrusted, non-humans feared, and the nomadic Vistani hated with unbridled ferocity. Both Gabrielle and her son take great pains to exploit the common folk's prejudice, engaging in extensive, slanderous campaigns against the Vistani, spreading black and ugly rumors about their secret practices, and blaming the Nomads for almost every ill that plagues Invidian society. Some even believe that Vistani witches are responsible for the violence of common Invidian life, claiming that their sorceresses drive men and women to assault and murder through magic. Invidians tend to be superstitious and fearful of magic. Most believe magic to be evil, dark force. The Invidians make a distinction between miracles, their name for divine magic, and ensorcelments, arcane magic. Mages must be careful about casting spells where they can be seen, lest local militia or guards arrive with swords drawn, demanding explanations. In a few villages, hedge wizards or wise women practice their art, so long as their spells are all helpful and they never charge too much for their services. Elsewhere, spellcasting crones or ancient wizards live in isolated, wild regions, secretly visited by commoners seeking potions, divinations, or magical vengeance against their rivals. Necromancy is officially illegal, but those caught practicing it rarely make it to Karina for trial. Usually they are dispatched by mob justice and hanged from trees, their remains cremated and scattered on the winds, lest they return demanding vengeance. In some villages, simply accusing another of necromancy is a tantamount to a death sentence, and is a well-known way of disposing of a rival or enemy. Never the strongest or most wisely ruled of realms, Invidia remains a divided land in the ever-closing grip of tyranny. The excesses of its rulers polarize the populace, though besides the northern Gundrakites, few have been driven to open rebellion. This may change as the conflict between Maliki and his mother moves to the boiling point, or if a powerful neighbor chooses to retaliate over Maliki's persecution of Vistani. Invidia has long been a realm with inconstant rulers. Even when united under a single banner, a ruler's authority never extended much beyond the larger settlements. Recently, Lord Maliki entrenched hired swords and established far stronger central authority. Expanded authority means that Maliki can no longer afford to rule alone, exclusively by decree. He has established the King's Chamber, Invidia's assembly of nobles and wealthy Invidians, tasked to advise and consult the king in all of his decisions. In reality, the chamber serves little purpose other than to endorse Maloki's decisions. It mollifies the populace, who feel that their nobles and prominent citizens have a say in national affairs. This is important, as Maliki is expanding Invidian authority beyond larger settlements, indeed beyond Invidian's borders. Maliki does not tolerate dissent. He has spies and informants in many settlements and recruits wandering merchants and clerics to report back to Corina with information on dissent, rebellion or subversive activities. Recently, Maliki has begun to recruit agents into his secret police, the Lord's Men. This select group is even more feared than the tax collectors, for no one truly knows who they are. Any stranger could be one of the tyrant's secret agents, making the insular Invidian peasantry even less friendly towards outsiders than they were before Maliki came to power. Away from the larger towns, beyond the view of the most of his populace, the Dokar is said to command even stranger minions. Supposedly, the beasts of the forest and the birds of the air are at his command, and he has even found some way to recruit, however temporarily, the monstrous man-flesh-eating ogres and other lumbering hulks said to roam the southwest wilds. Thank you so much for your time, patient listeners. Invidia is a great realm to escape from, but if you are traveling its way, be careful while crossing the mists.